Welcome back to GMs for Hire. I'm Matthew Perry. I'm with Jamil King, and today we are going to debate one of the most controversial topics in all of sports, containing the two best soccer players in the world, that being Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. I myself will take Lionel Messi for today. Jamil will take Cristiano Ronaldo. Jamil, start us off why you think Cristiano Ronaldo is a better player than Messi.
To start off, both are obviously great players, probably two of the best we've seen in our generation, possibly two of the best we've ever seen. But a couple of things to me stick out for CR7 that make him the better player right now. And those things are his success in other areas outside of Spain, his international success, which he has had more success than Messi internationally. And the last thing is just the pure clutchness factor out of Ronaldo. It might be the most clutch. He might be the most clutch player we've seen in our generation, and he could be the most clutch player in football history. So those are just a few reasons why I think Ronaldo's a superior player.
And that's fair. Both men, though, have had their fair share of big moments throughout the years. We're going to start with international play. And we all know Messi doesn't have an international trophy. That is one thing that has always hung over his head throughout his career, and something that many people think, keeps him from being the greatest of all time. Ronaldo, as you'll mention, does have two international trophies, that being the Euro and what was it, League of Nations? You said
Nations League.
Nations League. That's right. So I'll start with the international claim, I guess you could say. Despite Messi not having any international trophies, he does play well in the games he participates in for Argentina. Over the years, there have been many moments where Argentina is so close yet so far from an international trophy. Most recently, the 2019 Copa America semis, when they were shut out by Brazil. But Messi still played well in that game. He led the team with a 7.6 match rating. And match rating means something different to everybody. But for me, at least, it's about the chances he creates. When he's out on the pitch, Messi does something that Ronaldo doesn't. And I think that is make an impact in such a unique way, whether it's passing, whether it's scoring goals. Messi can get out there and not put any points up on the board, no goals or assists, and take home Man of the Match awards. Copa America wasn't the toughest, group of countries to face each other. They were in a group with Colombia, Paraguay, and Qatar, and they finished second in that group behind Colombia, but made it past Colombia all the way to the semis before getting eliminated. But I don't know. It's a team game, and I think that needs to be taken into account when looking at Argentina's shortcomings more than just Messi. I don't think Messi should take all the fault for no international trophies.
No, it's not all Messi's fault. And the thing is, though, when you look at these two teams, I think it's clear that Argentina has more talent on their team than Portugal does. You look at Russia when they were past World Cup, Messi was playing with guys like Sergio Aguero, Higuain, Paulo Dybala, and several other great marquee players. When Ronaldo went to his final when they defeated France, he was playing with guys like Bruno Alves, Eder, and Renato Sanchez. I think if you were to take Ronaldo off of Portugal, Portugal is going to really struggle to get into these big-time tournaments, which we saw happen to even get into that World Cup. They had to beat Sweden in a tiebreaker tie where Ronaldo scored 2 goals past the 70th minute in the second leg just to get them there, scoring 3 goals in the tie altogether. Where you look at Argentina, if you take Messi off that team still has a lot of talent, and I think they have the capability to play good, hard games and to qualify for these bigger tournaments.
Yeah, but we'll look at Portugal's Euro 2016 victory. You're in a group with Iceland, Austria, and Hungary, and there are a lot of tough teams in Europe, but Portugal just so happened to not get any of them. Iceland has maybe a couple good players that a casual fan would know on a normal stage, but this is a generally easy group stage, and they of course made it out, no surprise there. But then you look at the Euro final, and you mentioned how they wouldn't get that far without Ronaldo, In the final, I believe it was Eder that scored the winner. Ronaldo didn't play any more than 20 minutes before hobbling off with injury. But when it mattered most, they didn't even need Ronaldo. So I don't think Ronaldo was that important to Portugal's success, at least in Euro 2016 specifically.
While Ronaldo was hurt in that game, Portugal doesn't get there without Ronaldo putting the team on his back. And while Ronaldo was hurt that game, we saw Ronaldo pretty much coach his team and will that team the victory to win that game. We've seen Argentina lose tough games, and Messi has literally flat out quit the soccer team, say he doesn't want to play anymore. It's too much for him. And you don't see that of Ronaldo. You see Ronaldo, he says, "Oh, I got hurt." He doesn't whine or anything about that. Yes, we've seen him do that in the past with other things. But Ronaldo said, "You know what? My team needs me. My nation needs me." He went ahead and willed that team to victory. We saw on the sidelines how passionate he was and how much that win, that first international trophy for Portugal, how much that meant to him. You could just see it on his face. And while, no, you can't help who you play in your group if you're Portugal, look at the rest of the teams you play in Europe. Belgium, France, England, Croatia, Portugal, and Spain are all top 10 teams when it comes to UEFA FIFA rankings right now. So you're going through a lot of tough teams. Just because it's not in your group doesn't mean those teams aren't represented in Europe. And it just proves that Europe's a gauntlet compared to South America. South America is no slouch, but you can't tell me that South America compares to European football right now.
No, it doesn't compare to European football, and I do agree with you saying that. But at the same time, you look at the competition's different on both levels, but at the same time, it's not easy. And in soccer or in any sport, that is, on any given day, any team can win. Argentina in the quarterfinals beat Venezuela 2-0 in what seemed like quite an easy match for them. But then you have Brazil. So, one day it's Venezuela, and then you go all the way up to Brazil. The competition might not be as stiff as in Europe, but you're still facing them no matter what. You're facing still a top team. Brazil's top 5 in the world for sure, with all the talent they have. But you look at Ronaldo. Oh, I'm gonna go back to what you said about the Euros. Him coaching on the sidelines, coaching. I mean, that does not do anything. I can guarantee you that Eder scoring that winner is not because Ronaldo hobbled on the sidelines and showed excitement.
I don't know. I feel like those guys that look over, they see their best player, their leader over there. He's hurt, but he still has the will to get these guys in position to win. I think they looked over there and they said, "Look, we got here off of seven. Seven got us to this position. The least we can do is get this goal for our country, for our leader." And, just as a team with camaraderie, we get out here and we just get a big win. I think that had a lot to do when you look over there and you see your best player doing that. I feel like for Argentina, there's a psychological effect when you see your best player is talking about quitting the team because they lost a big game. If I lost a big game, I'm looking at my calendar. I'm saying in 4 years, we're going to be back here and we're going to come out here and win. When my other best player is saying, I don't even know if I can do this anymore.
You can't blame Messi for considering leaving Argentina's national team. And he did come back, though, which shows resilience. But you can't there's no correlation between Messi leaving and Argentina missing big chances. Higuain did not miss all the one-on-ones that he had. I know he's missed several penalties over the years in big games. You can't place blame on Messi for Higuain missing big moments or Dybala missing a pass. Like simple things. Like you have players in the back messing up defensive plays. How's that Messi's fault? I mean, your point just doesn't really make sense.
No one's blaming Messi. At the end of the day, it's a team game, and Ronaldo has the trophies that Messi doesn't internationally, and he has more goals than Messi internationally. So really, to me, there's no one point you can say Messi is superior to Ronaldo in international football.
But you're making the point that it's Messi's fault Argentina has came up short so many times.
It's not Messi's fault at all, but at the end of the day, Messi has gone out and quit the team.
But that does not correlate to they didn't lose because he quit the team. They lost because a team
he quit.
Put it together. Several players have made several mistakes in big moments over the years, which is what led to Messi's shortcomings on the international stage. And that can't be the only thing that makes Ronaldo a better player than Messi is international. I don't think that can have an impact. Like Pele Pele, for example, was blessed to be born in Brazil and be on a great team, and he had success on the international stage. But some guys don't, like Zlatan
But Messi,
Ibrahimovic.
Argentina
He was,
as a whole is better than Portugal as a whole. So I understand your point you're making with the argument. At the end of the day, in international soccer, your goal is to win. And Messi and Ronaldo and Portugal have won more than Argentina has won. And that's a fact.
and that's perfectly fine. But we're talking about who the better player is. We're not.
All right,
You
Ronaldo
can
has more goals in these in international play.
you okay, but you gotta look at the bigger picture here. Messi has more career assists than him. He has more goals per game than him. His goals to assist ratio is higher. His average
And
match.
yet they still aren't winning trophies.
I'm looking at the bigger picture here. I'm not
There
focused.
is no bigger picture to me. The biggest picture is winning these trophies, international play, to say you are the best nation. And Ronaldo's team has done that. He
There you
scored the
go.
clutch goals in these moments to do that. So I don't see how
Better
Messi
nation.
and
No, you just
Argentina
did it.
are
No,
doing
you did it.
anything here.
You did it for yourself. You took care of it. Better nation. You're saying Portugal's better than Argentina, and that's perfectly fine. At this day and age, I think so too. You know, they have the Euro 2016 and they have a Nations League Cup, which, you know, is not a very important trophy in the grand scheme of things. But all you've proven to me is that Portugal is a better team than Argentina. You have not proven to me that Ronaldo's better than Messi. You've credited Messi quitting to Argentina's shortcomings. You've credited Ronaldo's coaching, him hobbling on the sidelines as motivation for Portugal winning. But I just think that's absolutely ridiculous, you saying that, because Ronaldo standing on the sidelines literally does nothing for the team. Eder scored the winner. You know, they played as a team without Ronaldo. And I think that with or without Ronaldo, they can do the same thing. Ronaldo does not make that big of a difference for Portugal, and it shows.
I
And
think
then
that's a very bold statement you just made, that you just said Ronaldo doesn't make a big difference for Portugal. When without Ronaldo, Portugal probably isn't even qualified to make these tournaments.
he gets okay. I'm glad in qualifying against teams like Hungary, he's putting up big numbers. Messi against Qatar, I'm sure, has fantastic numbers. You
I
know,
want you to look up
do
those
it against,
numbers and get back to me when you find out how many times he's played Qatar.
you know, it's not even worth looking up. I'm making a comparison in to Euro and Copa America. The lowest I'm just using the lowest from each group stage. But you know, my point being, Ronaldo can do that then, but when it matters most, what's he doing?
You can't
He's
help an injury. And while he was hurt, like I said, he's still on the sidelines, proving he's still a team player. While Messi has lost the game and then quit. I
Messi
honest
is
at the end of the day, they have
side.
more trophies, and Ronaldo has been the superior player. I don't see how you could say Messi has been better in international soccer than Ronaldo.
We'll move on. We'll leave that. We'll leave that to the listeners on who's better internationally. We'll move on. We're gonna go to. I actually want to go to Champions League before we hit league play, if that's okay with you.
All right, we can talk about Champions League.
All
Well,
right.
Ronaldo has shown he is arguably the most clutch player we've ever seen in any sport.
I mean, you can't say Messi hasn't had big moments either. You know,
They both had big moments, but Ronaldo also has something that Messi doesn't have, and that's the fact that Ronaldo is part of a team that is the only team in football history to win 3 straight Champions League finals.
But what did he do in those finals? What did he do? So let's look. No, I got it. Let's look. So 2017 final, and I do have match ratings, whether you care about them or not. So they win the 2017 final. He scores 2 garbage time goals. They're already ahead by several to put up an 8.4 rating. The rating's nice. The goals didn't mean as much. They weren't needed for the win. You look at the 2018 final. Bale came off the bench. I believe that's the year he had the bicycle kick. I believe. Bale came off the bench and scored 2, put up an 8.8 rating. Carried them. Ronaldo puts up a 6.6, playing all 90 minutes. Bale carried them to that victory. I think that's very clear. 2016, I skipped 2016. He puts up a 7.8 rating, which is a fair rating. I think that's a good rating. But then you have someone like Gareth Bale putting up a 9.1. You know, it's key to mention that Ronaldo is not why they won these finals, these UCL finals. Gareth Bale so clearly has had quite the impact on Real Madrid, whether he plays or not. Well, I mean, whether he starts or not. You know, Bale's coming off the bench and doing amazing things, and I don't think it is fair to Bale or it's fair to anybody saying that Ronaldo is the reason they won those finals.
I hear what you're saying and all, but to get to these finals, Ronaldo has been a big part of that. In 2016, Real Madrid can't even get to the Champions League final if it's not for a hat trick by Cristiano Ronaldo on the road at Wolfsburg when they're down 2-0 on aggregate, and he goes up and puts 3 goals up on his own to get his team to the finals. In 2009, I know we're going back when he was on United, but Ronaldo scored arguably one of the best goals we've ever seen against FC Porto, making Manchester United the first European team ever to go to FC Porto and win a Champions League knockout game with his goal from 45 yards out. Ronaldo has just shown time and time again how clutch of a player he is. We've seen him score his bicycle kick versus Juventus. Don't even get me started on how epic that kick was. Literally took Juventus out, took their hearts out. Every time you need a clutch goal, Ronaldo's there to give it to you. Against Bayern Munich, he single-handedly take their hearts out with a free kick underneath the wall to beat Neuer short side. There's just so many epic moments Ronaldo has shown us in the Champions League that I don't see how you can say Messi's a better player. And Ronaldo also has more Champions League final wins than Messi.
Messi's had plenty of moments as well. I know you remember that moment against Bayern Munich where he did that nice dribble move and dropped Jerome Boateng, leading to the goal. I know you remember that. Everyone remembers that.
I remember Jerome Boateng, Germany dropping Argentina out of the World Cup final. But that's for another story. We already got past that.
The 2011 final, in a 3-1 win over Man United, Messi puts up a 10.0 match rating. He scored in the game. He led his team in rating en route to a title victory. Now, Barcelona's came on some hard times recently in the Champions League, but the 2019 semi and their loss to Liverpool, he put up a 7.2, and throughout the entire Champions League play in 2019, he led all of the Champions League with an 8.9 average rating. Messi was out there, still contributing, still putting things up. They beat Man United in the 2009 final too. He scored one of the 2 goals to put them over Man United back in 2009. But there's some spectacular grades out here. He put up an 8.5 in the 2010 semi versus Inter, where they won the game. They did win the game. They lost on aggregate. But Messi played a big part in that game as well. He put up a 7.0 in 2017 in a loss to Juve. They lost in penalties. And and then that's only, you can only do so much in penalties. Messi can. So, Messi's done a lot in the Champions League, and that's a good reason why he has 4 titles, all with the same team as well. So, he's definitely made his impact and had quite a few big moments.
I hear exactly what you're saying with Messi in Champions League, but here's my biggest reason why Ronaldo is superior to Messi in the Champions League, and it's not because of the goals, and it's not because of the clutch moments, and it's not because of the wins. In the past few years, we've seen a captain team by Lionel Messi in Barcelona have 2 of the worst failures we've seen in the Champions League. Last season against Liverpool, they're up 3-0 in aggregate. They go and lose 4-0 at Anfield in one of the craziest Champions League games we've seen. The year before that, they're up against Roma. They go to Italy. They fall flat on their face also. So 2 straight seasons, a captain Lionel Messi team has fallen flat on their face with no answer. I have never, ever seen a team captain by Cristiano Ronaldo have efforts like that. That Real Madrid's teams that dominated would never, when they were faced with adversity like that, Ronaldo would go out and attack, and he would somehow, some way find a way to get a hat trick, which to me just shows how great of a player he is. And I'm not saying anything away from Messi, but I've just never seen a team like Cristiano Ronaldo and his Real Madrid team go out and have flat performances like the way Barcelona has in the past few years in the Champions League.
Well, I have a few examples. One most recently, 2013. I know that's not super recent, but the semifinals first leg, Real Madrid lost 4-1 to Borussia Dortmund. And I'm going to try to pull up. Okay, Ronaldo did have the 1 goal for Real Madrid, but where's the hat trick? Where's what you just expressed to me was that Ronaldo's this clutch player. He's scoring the goal. Sure, he scored for Real Madrid, but then from there, that was the brace. He tied it, and then you have Lewandowski score a hat trick within the next 30 minutes to seal the deal for Dortmund, and that's Lewandowski doing what you're telling me Ronaldo is so known for doing.
I literally just gave you examples of Ronaldo putting the team on his back. Just because you can't do it one time doesn't make you a terrible player. Whereas Messi has twice in a row blown three goal leads on aggregate with his team just falling flat down on their face. And may I remind you that before the Dortmund team went on to the Champions League final where they lost to Bayern Munich.
And that's fine. Every team is in a different situation during the Champions League, and I think that needs to be taken into account. And they lost, and Barcelona, I mean, last year, yes, they blew it, but they lost to the champs. I mean, Liverpool obviously was destined for this. I mean, they had a fantastic season, and they were just impossible to stop. It happens. It happens in sports. You see, I mean, the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead. The Indians blew a 3-1 lead in the 2016 World Series to the Cubs. I mean, these things happen. The Yankees blew a 3-0 lead to the Red Sox in the 2004 ALCS. You go up and then you come down. I mean, it's sports. It happens. And I don't think and just like the point you made with international, you can't blame Messi for that because he's still producing. He's still putting up good ratings. He's still doing what he needs. He's doing his job. It's not his fault that Barcelona blew the lead. It's not directly his fault. Yes, he played a part, but you can't put it all on Messi.
No, you can't. But at the same time, at that point, you have to praise Ronaldo for being able to have the most goals in Champions League history while being a part of the only team to win 3 straight titles.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it really doesn't matter what year, like how many years in a row you're winning them. I know Ronaldo has 5 overall and Messi has 4. And you can give Ronaldo the lead on that, but that doesn't mean his individual impact was greater than Messi's, because that's just not true.
Well, again, Ronaldo has the most goals all time in UEFA Champions League football.
Well, but then at that point you have to compare how many Champions League games each of them has played.
Again, we could go about this all day, but at the end of the day, to me, if you're gonna say who's better in Champions League, I'm looking at Ronaldo, who has A, the most goals, B, more international, more wins in UCL, and 3, his dominance and his clutch factor to me just put him above Messi in UEFA Champions League soccer.
Well, to me, you got to look at the chances Messi creates more than just goals, more than just assists. You got to look at Messi's impact when he's out there on the pitch. And it shows that over the years, Messi has had a great impact on Barcelona, arguably better than anyone else they've ever had in those games. He was blessed with a great team, as was Ronaldo. Messi had Iniesta, Xavi, PK back there with him. You have a Neymar. He had Neymar, Dani Alves. He's had great teams over the years, but so is Ronaldo. And so it comes down, really, honestly, to not only individual performance, and you can get Ronaldo for goals on that, but you have to just look at the impact he has on the chances he creates as a player. And I just think it goes deeper than goals and wins.
I hear what you're saying with that, but at the end of the day, these players are 2 different players. It's not like we're comparing 2 point guards to each other. We're comparing 2 different soccer players that have different stylistic traits. Messi is the kind of guy that's going to go get the ball in midfield, dribble it past like 10 people, and then make a delicious pass. Whereas Ronaldo, he might be the best player we've seen off ball. He literally jumps higher than some receivers in the NFL to go get some of these headers. So to me, we're just comparing 2 different stylistic players, where we really can't do that. We have to appreciate both their greatness, but at the same time, we have to sit here and pick apart how one is better than the other. And to me, in Champions League, I think Ronaldo is the best player just because of the fact that he has more championships and he has the clutch and he has just the more clutch moments and he has the wins. But we could keep talking about that day and night. But I think we should get into these two players' abilities in their respective leagues.
All right, and that's perfectly fine. It's been a little different because Messi has stayed with Barcelona all his career, and Ronaldo's moved around a bit. Starting in Portugal with, I believe, Sporting, was it, and then moving to Man United, then Real Madrid, and now present day with Juventus. It looks a little different for each one, which makes it kind of hard to compare. But breaking it down, really, I think Messi has Ronaldo in league play for sure. you love winning so much, Jamil. That's your biggest. That's your biggest. So why in 9 years?
Winning is why we play the game, my friend.
Ronaldo played 9 years in Spain. He only won the league twice. And a lot of years Messi took it right from him. So, you look at career league titles, Messi has 8, Ronaldo has 6. Obviously, Ronaldo getting those 6 from several different leagues. But I don't know. I mean, if Ronaldo's the better league player and it's all about wins, why does Messi take it from him almost every year?
Here's the thing. I'm not going to sit here and say that Lionel Messi isn't the king of La Liga, which he is. He has the trophies, he has the goals in La Liga to back that up. But my argument for Ronaldo is, and honestly, this isn't any fault to Messi because he's decided to stay at Barcelona, which is a great club. He's a club legend, going to go down as the best player in Barcelona history, which is something great. But something Ronaldo has done that Messi hasn't is to have success on all these different levels. To play the play in the English Premier League and La Liga are two different games, and we've seen Ronaldo be able to play in both of them and dominate at different times. CR7 is going to go down as a legend at Man United and Real Madrid, two different clubs. And at the end of the day, he could go down as a legend at Juventus if he's able to lead them to European glory. So again, that's no fault to Messi at all. But to me, it just shows the greatness of Cristiano Ronaldo to be able to say, you know what? I've won 3 straight Champions Leagues of Real Madrid. We're dominating right now. But you know what? I want a new challenge. I'm going to go to Italy. I'm going to join Juve, and I'm going to try to lead them to greatness in not only Italy, but internationally as well. And to me, that just shows how much of a challenge he's willing to take on. And again, that's no knock to Messi. Messi is a great player. But I think that Ronaldo has shown that he has the adaptation ability to go out and play in these different places.
And that's credit to Ronaldo for being able to play in those other places. But in the end, it's the player's choice. And Ronaldo isn't necessarily doing this to prove that he can play in other leagues. I mean, you got to look at financial, values. They're paying Ronaldo quite a bit of money, and I think that definitely played into his choice to leave Madrid. But, since we're covering league play, I mean, there are plenty of things here that Messi has done that Ronaldo has not touched. He's the only player to score 60-plus goals in back-to-back seasons. He has the most goal. You love goals, too. You were crediting that earlier. 2012, Lionel Messi, 91 goals in 69 games and 22 assists. That's in a calendar year. No one's ever done that. Man of the match ratings since 2011, 225 to 125. Messi has him by 100. It really shows the impact, and that's over all leagues. That's over all contests. It really shows the impact, and that's in less appearances as well. It shows the impact that Messi has to a team, and that's not even league. That's overall. That's covering all boundaries there. In 2019, La Liga, I know Ronaldo was out at this point over to Juventus, but he led in all single advanced offensive categories. He was the top goal scorer. He led in assists, dribbles, chances created, and that's very important to a team, no matter what team you're on. That's not something Ronaldo's ever had the opportunity to do. We know Ronaldo doesn't pass as much as Messi, which leads to him not creating as many chances. And although Ronaldo does have a lead in goals, 121 of those 725 career goals are penalties, and that's just And you're talking about, you were mentioning earlier, big moments, big goals. The bicycle kick, which was very impressive. I personally, that's one of my favorite goals, or the 45-yarder back from Man United. And these are highlight goals that I love to see. But a penalty is, that's probably the most basic goal you can score. I mean, that's as bad as a sweat. I mean, it's not anything impressive. And it's like padding stats. I mean, you take that out, and the goal totals are completely different. For Messi and Ronaldo. So
I mean, on the topic of penalty kicks, I mean, you really can't fault Ronaldo for taking penalty kicks. Messi also takes penalty kicks as well. To me, you can't sit here and say, well, if he doesn't take penalty kicks, can't do this, can't do that. I don't see the point in doing that because it's not anyone's fault that he's taking the penalty kicks. Both players do it. But So to Messi's credit and to your credit, the one thing I can say that Messi has on Ronaldo is his success in La Liga over Ronaldo. But while he was having that success in La Liga, Ronaldo was winning Champions Leagues. So it's not like Ronaldo was just sitting here playing second fiddle doing nothing. He was out there winning the big trophy that's eluded Messi and Barcelona for the past few years. But again, we're getting a little bit off topic. But to me, the reason we're going to talk about league success. The thing about Ronaldo is he's gone out and played these different leagues. Again, no fault to Messi, but the grind in the EPL is completely different than the grind of La Liga. And the wide open play of La Liga is something you don't see in the English Premier League. So to me, Ronaldo's adaptation abilities, like I said earlier, is what makes him the better league player to me. And again, yes, I'll give Messi the edge while they were both in La Liga, but at the same time, Ronaldo was winning other trophies while he was in La Liga that Messi wasn't winning.
And that's perfectly fine, and that's fair. And Messi just hasn't had that opportunity to go out to other leagues and do that kind of thing. And I do strongly believe that Messi can win titles wherever he goes. He's probably the best player ever. Him or Ronaldo, that's an opinion. That's for everyone at home to decide. But if you break down ability, moving on from league, because I think we covered league pretty well. Messi's and I'll go back to it. It's the chances he creates. Messi is a much better passer. He's better with through balls. He's better in key passes that lead to big goals. You were talking about those earlier. And I honestly think that Messi's a better dribbler than Ronaldo. And I know dribbling is a big thing for Ronaldo, but if you look at overall gameplay, Messi gets through quite easier than Ronaldo, and that might be the smaller frame. There's a lot to analyze there, but I do think Messi's better in all of those aspects of the game.
I hear exactly what you're saying and all, but like I was saying earlier, we're comparing two different stylistic players. You mentioned Messi's small frame, and Messi is definitely a better dribbler. I'm not going to dispute you on that one bit. But Ronaldo is probably straight line the faster player. Messi probably has him in short term acceleration. But seeing Ronaldo run down, honestly, Ronaldo's a freak athlete. The way he runs, how he runs to begin with is funny too. But then the way he jumps is just crazy. He's like a locomotive. We honestly haven't seen a lot of different kind of players like Ronaldo. So when we're breaking down these stylistic players, Messi does have him in passing, and he probably does have him in dribbling and quickness. But Ronaldo probably has him in overall crossing ability and overall shooting ability. Messi is a more accurate shooter, but I think Ronaldo kicks the ball better, if that makes any sense.
I know what you mean. And they are technically two very different players in both size, shape, and the way they play soccer. And that overall makes a difference in their results. Ronaldo heads, Messi's not that kind of player. And, that leads to different chances. But I'll leave it with a quote from Rio Ferdinand, who played with Ronaldo at Man United, in a YouTube kind of show thing he did with Thierry Henry. He said, "I respect Ronaldo, but Messi is the best in the world." And I do have several other examples of famous takes from players sharing their thoughts. And just like ours, it is just an opinion. But I think it says a lot considering that Rio was one of Ronaldo's teammates. But we'll leave it at that. And, we'll
at
leave
the end
it.
of the day, I hope we are able to see both these players in the MLS soon.
Yeah, hopefully. That would be good for the United States. That'd be
I think
good.
we can compare their MLS stats and we can see who's better once and for all.
Yeah, once they're all washed up and old and America gets a hold of them, we can really see for ourselves. But we'll leave it at that. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below. Let us know if you have any other debate ideas. We're really enjoying producing this content for you guys. And Messi, Ronaldo, best players of our generation. It's really tough to say who's better. But just let us know, and we'll see you next time. See ya.